A system failure on day one creates headaches for homeschooling. A big fat zero puts Queensland in prime position in the fight against COVID-19 as the Gold Coast reopens some of its beaches. State versus state, battle lines drawn as New South Wales makes a dirty play for Virgin, but our Premier says game on. Too little, too late. Queenslanders shunning emergency departments out of fear, and it's putting their lives at risk. And breaking news out of NRL HQ as Todd Greenberg exits the building.
This is 10 News First Queensland with Georgina Lewis.
Good evening. It was never going to be easy, and homeschooling for hundreds of thousands of Queensland kids didn't get off to a great start. The online learning websites crashed as soon as the day began, leaving kids and parents frustrated.
Day one of term 2.
And here's the pool.
Looks busy.
And kitchen classrooms were set up and ready to go.
English, then math, then humanities, then HP.
It involves me doing schoolwork via the internet.
There was just one problem. The state's education websites and online learning portals designed to make homeschooling easier crashed almost immediately.
I thought it was the internet at first, but when I got onto OneNote, it would say like an error or something was wrong.
Well, I think we always said there was going to be some teething issues, and probably it's been overwhelmed by the number of people that are actually logging on.
Frustrated parents had other words for it.
I was running around like a headless chicken, just trying to calm them and say, it's okay, just wait. If you've got even just a little bit of work, just work on that and it'll come through eventually, just trying to get them to stay calm because they started fretting.
Sort of worried because I couldn't do my work.
Schools are still open for children of essential workers, but it was a lonely walk through the gates this morning. Authorities were expecting less than 100,000 kids to turn up, and inside, classrooms looked and sounded very different.
So when you're answering one of my questions, what you'll need to do is unmute yourself.
At St Andrews Primary School, some classes were combined as teachers checked in with other students through video calls. The Education Department is set to review how well the remote learning system is working next month, but at this stage, everything will remain in place until the 22nd of May. It's clear everyone is just trying to do their best until then.
It's a bit unusual for what we've been doing for the past, like our whole school life.
But there's some things you can't replicate at home.
The face-to-face teaching and my friends.
Yeah, I do miss teachers and I miss being with my friends at school.
Georgina Hill for 10 News First.
For the first time in 42 days, there are no new cases of coronavirus in Queensland. Restrictions are working, the curve is flattening, and it means we are closer than ever before to seeing life return to normal.
The early signs of the lockdown lifting on the Gold Coast. Beaches at Surfers Paradise and Coolangatta are now open, a reward for this result.
And today, I'm very pleased to report that we have 0 cases. 0 cases.
It's the first time since March 9 there have been no new cases. The state's total remains at just over 1,000. 7 people require intensive care. The peak number of infections was last month, 78 cases in only one day.
I am so encouraged. Queensland is definitely flattening the curve.
This is the reward for the effort we all put in over that Easter long weekend.
Social distancing measures, isolations, restrictions on businesses and groups, all of it is working, but the pandemic is far from over. The biggest concern for health authorities is that a second wave of infections will hit the state if we become too complacent too quickly.
We need to be very cautious. We need to keep up our current approach, but if we can sustain this, then the end is in sight.
The Premier says Queenslanders can expect to see changes and the easing of restrictions, but she wouldn't be drawn on what that means or when it is likely to happen.
And those are the things that we'll be looking at carefully, where we can remove some of those restrictions that we feel won't lead to a bounce back in those numbers of cases.
And even though beaches are open, it is only for residents who live close and are exercising. Car parks will stay closed.
Don't spoil it for everyone else. Those people just go, oh, she'll be right, mate. Well, not this time round.
Because no one wants to see coronavirus come back for round 2, and as health authorities warn, complacency can kill.
And John Paul joins us now. JP, as new cases flatline, are fines also dropping for those flouting social distancing rules?
They're not, Georgie, and Queenslanders are paying a very high price for it. Yesterday alone, in just 24 hours, 46 people were fined for breaching coronavirus regulations. That is $1,300 each. Now, across the time those regulations have been in place, police have handed out more than $1.5 million in infringements. The message remains the same. If you don't have to be out, don't. Essential travel only. And even though those beaches on the Gold Coast may be open, it is only for exercise. Georgie?
Thank you, JP. It started as a fight to prevent an Australian airline monopoly and to keep jobs, but negotiations to bail out Virgin Australia have erupted into a state of origin turf war that could see the airline move its head office to the highest bidder.
While the federal government drags its heels on a Virgin bailout, the states are climbing over each other to help.
New South Wales might want to bring a pea shooter to the fight, that's fine. We'll bring a bazooka and we're not afraid to use it.
New South Wales will put cash on the table, but only if the airline relocates its head office from Brisbane to Western Sydney.
Well, at the end of the day, my government's responsible for New South Wales. I don't apologise for that. I'm the Premier of this state, and my role is to promote jobs and a strong economy in New South Wales, along with the Deputy Premier and our team.
Can I just say this to the New South Wales Treasurer? Back off. Back right off, just don't go there.
Virgin's fleet is gathering dust at airports across the country. Federal funding for limited domestic flights won't be enough. Queensland has floated a $200 million lifeline in a state of origin fight, which may have more than one front.
I think a second carrier is really important for all of us. And those 1,400 jobs plus the indirect jobs are very important to me right here in our state.
The Victorian government suggests it already had some skin in the game.
I will make it clear to you that I've been having discussions with Virgin for many, many months before the global pandemic about their future. That's a matter of fact.
It's a political football the Premier doesn't want to see kicked into state.
We will continue to fight to keep Virgin here in Queensland. Let me make it very clear.
Chris Campy for 10 News First.
We have some breaking news now with NRL CEO, Todd Greenberg quitting the top job effective immediately. Emma Lawrence is outside the league's headquarters in Sydney. Emma, did he quit or was he pushed?
Well, Georgie, the official line from the NRL is that it was a mutual decision, but there is no doubt that Todd Greenberg was pushed. And in fact, he's been under a lot of pressure for a number of months now. It all came to a head essentially with this coronavirus crisis and the revelations of the tremendous mismanagement at the NRL. The game was spending about $500 a day just to run the league, and they only had enough money to not be playing for about 3 months. Beyond that, they would go broke. It seemed the final straw where negotiations with Channel 9 turned sour, and essentially their chief executive would not deal with Todd Greenberg and instead would only deal with Peter V'landys, the chairman of the commission. And despite the fact they tried to play happy families, it was pretty clear that Peter V'landys and Todd Greenberg did not see eye to eye. Now, Todd Greenberg did release a statement a short time ago saying he thoroughly enjoyed his 4 years at the helm despite its challenges. But no doubt, Georgia, it will be another big few weeks in rugby league. Who takes over Todd Greenberg? Potentially Andrew Abdo in the interim, the chief commercial officer. Beyond that, some of the names that have been tossed around include Blake Solly from the Rabbitohs, potentially even Dave Trodden from the New South Wales Rugby League. So we'll have to watch this space, Georgie.
Most definitely. Thank you, Emma, in Sydney. There are grave fears tonight. Queensland lives are on the line. Southeast doctors are growing increasingly worried about patients refusing to go to emergency departments. Medicos say COVID-19 is scaring them away with potentially deadly consequences.
This is Australia's busiest emergency department. In the last 6 months, Gold Coast University Hospital has set multiple records for the number of patients treated. Now, though, when it should be even busier, admissions are down.
We're a little bit worried that some patients lately have been presenting a day or two after they should have been, and that has led to them being a lot sicker.
For patients suffering heart attack or stroke, that can be deadly. On average, staff here see up to 340 patients a day. That's dropped as low as just over 200. Doctors believe it's because patients fear contracting coronavirus or overwhelming the system.
There is no chance if you come up with something, a standard medical condition, that you will be placed in the same sort of pod as those patients.
Staff brace for the influx of non-COVID-19 patients. Now they're urging them to come in if they're in trouble.
We were all really concerned when all this started happening and everyone was on the edge, but I think we're starting to turn the corner.
Elsewhere, the hospital is still operating as per normal.
People every day are still being diagnosed with cancer. 20, 30 babies are being born in this hospital, in this community, some of them who still need care and support.
To help medical staff on the front lines, the Titans today donated ice vests to keep workers cool in their protective gear as they treat coronavirus patients.
We wouldn't be where we are today without, you people. So I'm really proud and keep doing what you're doing, to keep our community safe.
Matthew Howard for 10 News First.
Former Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce has ramped up his attacks on his own government's plans to track COVID-19. He hates the proposed tracing app and he's not alone.
He's always ferociously guarded his privacy, although not always successfully.
I don't want the government to know so much about my life.
Barnaby Joyce is talking about the government's new smartphone app, which is aimed at tracking down people who might have come in contact with someone who has tested positive to COVID-19.
Whether or not you know the person.
Yeah, I'm refusing to download it and I'm totally within my rights because it's not compulsory.
Curiously, the Labor Party even supports the app, but not the former Deputy Prime Minister.
It's like someone following you with a notebook, writing down who you're talking to and how long you've spoken to them for.
Well, I think most Australians like me aren't too concerned where Barnaby is. Barnaby's concerned that someone is tracking or surveilling him. That's not the case.
The app is expected to be available in the next couple of weeks, and while it's not mandatory, Australians are being encouraged to get on board.
I honestly don't think that there's a significant privacy issue here.
It will use Bluetooth rather than geolocation technology.
It'll only capture that information and hold it on your phone for up to 21 days. And then the data disappears.
This is all about seeing who you've been in contact with, not where you are.
But not everyone's convinced.
The reality is that ultimately, once you have 4 pieces of information, you have the capacity to identify about 90% of the individuals who are utilising that.
To put minds at ease, the federal government says it will publicly explain exactly how the app works ahead of its release. But before that happens, the National Cabinet will meet again tomorrow to look at possibly lifting restrictions on elective surgery and dental work. Amber Austin-Wright for 10 News First.
Frustration is growing in the US as more states try to balance growing calls to reopen with people's safety. While the death toll has climbed past 40,000, infections are going down and the focus for some is rebuilding.
A direct appeal to a son of the city.
Are you going to save New York City or are you telling New York City to drop dead? Which one is it?
A clearly frustrated Mayor of New York playing rough with the president.
What's going on? Cat got your tongue? You're usually really talkative.
Authorities may be slowly getting on top of the coronavirus outbreak, but there are still desperate shortages of vital equipment. And with eyes now turning to the recovery, a desperate shortage of money as well.
The federal government was very quick to bail out the auto industry. How about bailing out the nation's largest city? How about bailing out the epicenter of this crisis where people have been suffering?
I just got off the phone with the Secretary of the Treasury, and we have some very good negotiations going on right now. And I think you could have a nice answer tomorrow, but we'll see.
Promising signs in New York's virus numbers too, but they come with a warning from the governor.
It's no time to get cocky and it's no time to get arrogant, right?
We still have a long way to go and a lot of work to do.
Frustrated with that amount of work and sacrifice, thousands of Americans spent another day protesting.
It's the flu. The people who have poor health are always the most vulnerable. God bless them.
Even targeting those on the front lines. But for the medics, it's not about freedom. It's about saving lives.
We just need to make sure that we stay the course with social distancing. We don't want to see another surge come in that would be overwhelming.
And with more than 40,000 Americans dead and thousands still in hospital, another surge would be catastrophic. Joe Hill for 10 News First.
Coming up, Queensland Council's Green Army, the push to recruit a new workforce at a time when we need it most. Also, adoptions online, the RSPCA virtual push to help find you a new friend. Plus later, the question that had this Coles employee head over heels. And in sport, Queensland coach Kevin Walters weighs in on when he wants State of Origin to be played.
It's the biggest
ravenous punters
MasterChef barbecue ever.
Oh my gosh. It is absolute mayhem. Alarm bells are starting to sound. It's too slow. I know, mate. I'm trying to get it going there, mate. I warned you about this.
But will this epic challenge eat them alive?
The way that your service goes all relies on the next 10 minutes. I'm worried for you, mate. Have you got anything cooked?
MasterChef, 7:30 tonight on 10.
At Domino's, our first priority is the health and safety of our team members and customers. That's why we are now offering zero contact delivery, so you can get any large pizza from $15 delivered with total peace of mind.
Introducing the new GS20 Ultra 5G, Samsung's best 5G phone on Australia's best 5G. Available now with no excess data charges in Australia when you add to any month-to-month mobile plan.
Call me when dinner's ready.
Whenever you need us, we're here for you, 24/7. Heritage Bank. People first.
No matter how they sleep, take comfort that Huggies newborn nappies with Huggies Dry Touch Layer quickly absorbs runny poos. And our super soft outer cover provides our best care for your newborn's delicate skin. Huggies, be comfortable in your skin.
Even though we need to stay inside, we can still keep moving. Even when you're not outside, you can still move like you are. Because even when space is limited, you can still move without limits.
New Mitsubishi ASX, built to pack life in.
In 1 week, a lot will happen in your life. Who has time for wrinkles? Neutrogena Rapid Wrinkle Repair's derm-proven retinol worked so fast, it takes only 1 week to reveal younger-looking skin. Neutrogena.
I'm Tammy Button. I founded My Budget to help people get through difficult times. Now more than ever, we need to consider the best way to manage our money and prepare for the unknown. Call My Budget today for your free phone appointment.
Husey, you've got a very big problem.
My husband hates him. Is it his voice? He puts on this Aussie guy bogan persona every time he talks.
Lisa, this is for you. I think it's the only answer. It's a divorce agreement. What does the bottom say, Lisa?
Tick here to divorce a guy who doesn't understand classic humour.
The season finale of Husey, We Have a Problem on 10.
Catch Husey's last laugh tonight.
Good afternoon. Well, first day back after the weekend and the road's not doing too badly this afternoon. The run up the Gateway looking fairly good around Nudgee, getting up through Bracken Ridge here, up onto the Bruce Highway and the Pine River Bridge moving through quite nicely. Gympie Road from Kedron all the way up through Chermside and Aspley looking pretty good too, and up through that Bald Hills area moving nicely past Strathpine Road. Not too bad on the Western Freeway heading outbound from Mount Cootha out towards Fig Tree Pocket, and a good run here on Enoggera Road heading up out of Enoggera up towards the north. I'm Dave Andrews, thanks to Thrive Meals, and Georgie, another check of the roads coming up later in the bulletin.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, Dave. We have exclusive vision for you now as police have ramped up their hunt for 3 armed men on the run since November. With a shotgun and rifle in hand, the trio stormed the CBX hotel, threatening security guards and patrons. They held the woman behind the register at gunpoint as she handed over cash. Investigators are hoping this CCTV will help bring them in. Police have gone to great heights to catch out 3 would-be thieves spotted on top of a Gold Coast building. Pol Air zeroed in on the trio, leaving them with no place to hide or run to.
So what I want to say to the community is we have your back during this period, and we want to do our very best to secure your premises and look after your businesses while you can't be there on site.
As well as drugs and trespass charges, the 19, 20 and 21-year-olds were hit with a $1,334 fine each for breaching COVID-19 restrictions. A $600 million battle plan has been formed to give businesses an economic boost during the fallout of COVID-19. Queensland's peak local government body says the proposal could create up to 14,000 new jobs.
A grassroots Kickstarter to see small businesses through the tough times.
We're not talking about handout for councils for decades to come. A one-off big hit of money to increase local economies.
The $600 million would be dished out to councils from the Cape to Coolangatta. In turn, they'd hire tradespeople, contractors and suppliers to carry out basic capital works, like upgrading roads and footpaths, small-scale projects that could help struggling businesses stay afloat.
It's really important work we're proposing. It's not painting rocks. This is about creating new jobs in the economy.
The LGAQ's battle plan would also see the raising of a 3,000-strong Green Army, working on habitat restoration and boosting the state's bushfire preparedness. 800 apprenticeship and traineeships would also be offered to those who've lost their jobs.
We're talking about stimulus projects to help fill the gap that's generated in the economy by the lack of business activity.
That's a very good input from LGAQ, and I fully support that.
It's claimed the money could be rolled out within weeks if the state government gets on board.
We're always looking at opportunities to create jobs. We've worked very closely with council.
Pressure is also mounting on the federal government to offer more support after Queensland's 77 councils were locked out of the JobKeeper program. The LGAQ is part of a nationwide push for a $2 billion boost to the Commonwealth's Financial Assistance Grants program. Brendan Savage for 10 News First.
Cute, cuddly and all yours in a few clicks. The RSPCA has launched a new initiative to help Queenslanders find love during lockdown.
A perfect match.
Gorgeous, yeah, gorgeous for sure.
For the Foster family, finding love online couldn't have been easier.
Amy sent us a video of her playing and we just fell in love with her straight away.
And today their online romance became a reality, taking home Edie, one of the RSPCA's first animals to be virtually adopted.
We're actually using the technology to help make it happen.
The rescue shelter was forced to adapt its adoptions after coronavirus restrictions meant touchy-feely, cuddly visits were off limits.
We can't have large numbers of people coming to any of the shelters now, and the close personal contact, of course, isn't allowed.
Now, those hoping to welcome in a new family member must first meet via webcam, forcing those looking for their forever home to crank up the cuteness.
Oh, she's looking at you when you talk to her.
With a face like this, Lulu, of course, is hard to resist. But would-be owner Ingrid Smith can't even get a face lick because she's having to get her get-to-know-you session online on the other side of Brisbane.
As you can see how affectionate the animal is, you know, perhaps it does some tricks, you know, just in general how it responds.
Of course, the virtual adoption system will work beautifully for some Pets for Life and perhaps not so great for others, like my little friend here. but they say the perfect match can come in all shapes and species.
And the RSPCA stresses a virtual adoption has the same rules, they're yours for life. So spoil them a lot.
I'm going to take her in and let her pick out some new toys.
Tim Collins for 10 News First.
Well, time now for an early weather check, Josh. The sunny skies return today.
Georgie, after the coldest morning of the year so far for Ipswich and Brisbane. We'll check out those temperatures in just a moment. The skies today were also welcome after the weekend. Quite overcast across areas of southeast Queensland. And then, of course, we had those severe thunderstorms a little bit further north. Tennis ball-sized hail falling in Yeppoon and also Rockhampton. But clear skies return today across the Wide Bay and Capricornia as well. Just a few light showers around areas of the northern coast. But back to these temperatures. That's 7 degrees in Ipswich this morning, was 7 degrees below average. As mentioned, the coldest morning of the year so far. Brisbane also got down to 14 degrees, which was 3 below. We hit a top, though, of 26 degrees on the sunny coast, 25 at the Goldie, 29 in Brisbane and at Logan, and we hit 30 degrees this afternoon in Ipswich. Of course, I'll be back at 5 to 6 with all the week's weather details. Georgie?
We'll see you then. Thank you, Josh. Ahead, the wedding crasher who became a wedding singer, the big-name star who surprised a bride and groom. Also, hijack horror, a deadly end to a gunman's unscheduled stop aboard a bus. And the little piggy went to market but should have stayed home instead.
Ravenous punters.
Will MasterChef's biggest barbecue ever eat them alive?
I'm worried for you, mate. Have you got anything cooked?
MasterChef, 7:30 tonight.
At ANZ, we're here to help you get on top of your money. So if you need a hand banking from home, support through the ups and downs of business, or to ease the pressures of your home loan, we're here and ready to help.
Termites and borers are a problem in Australia, so it's good news that frames made with the inner strength of True Core steel are 100% termite and borer proof. To find builders using True Core steel, visit truecore.com.au.
Infused oil deluxe crisps from Red Rock Deli.
If you're a small business, you've probably got a lot more questions than answers right now, which is why there's never been a more important time to speak to a professional accountant. They're specifically trained to help with business planning and cash flow management strategies tailored to support your business through these challenging times. They can even lend a hand with applications for government support to make sure you get the help your business needs. For further support and assistance, contact a professional accountant today.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's time to play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
There are two ways to make a mattress. The cheap way, one piece, single-sided with attached pillow top made out of foam. Yes, Mr. Harvey, they should be 50% off. The best way, two-piece, double-sided, removable pillow top with thousands of microcoils and a 5-year comfort promise. Sorry, Mr. Harvey, we make them, you don't.
The Bellissimo mattress, made like no other mattress. Making mattresses. Nobody makes a better mattress. Nobody.
We are Regional Australia.
We are winemakers.
We are coffee roasters.
Fashion designers.
Potters. Bakers.
Shopkeepers.
We're asking for your support because the wine is pouring.
The kiln is firing. And we're open for business.
Because where you shop matters.
Discover how Visa's network connects regional businesses to customers across Australia and the world.
At UE, we're all about how you use or don't use your car. So we're giving our clients and new clients temporary relief on their car insurance premiums if they're using their cars less right now. Go to UE.com.au. UE. You insured.
My problem today is...
You have a squeaky voice.
So who can fix that?
I got you covered.
The season finale of Hughesy, We Have a Problem. Next.
You're watching 10 News First. A dentist disguised as a police officer has carried out the worst mass shooting in Canada's history. At least 17 people are dead after a murderous rampage that lasted more than 12 hours.
Two police cars burn on the side of a highway.
They're dragging him out. Look, they're dragging somebody. Oh my God.
As the shooter, come arsonist, escapes police again during a 12-hour killing spree a short time later at a petrol station.
They got the killer right here. Oh, they got him, but they shot him. I heard the 4 shots.
Canada's deadliest mass shooting is finally brought to an end. Police killing the suspect.
Today is a devastating day for Nova Scotia, and it will remain etched in the minds of many for years to come.
This is the unsuspecting face of evil, 51-year-old dentist Gabriel Wortman.
So many ways for people to get dentures.
Police believe he started with a clear motive, murdering several people in a house before midnight last night, but then it turned into a random killing spree across several towns. One line of inquiry is whether the coronavirus lockdown played a role. Among the dead, Constable Heidi Stevenson, a 23-year veteran of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and mother of 2.
Earlier this afternoon, I met with Heidi's family, and there are no words to describe their pain.
During the shooting, residents in Nova Scotia hid in basements.
It's just something that I never ever expect to happen here, this close to home.
Adding to the confusion, Wortman dressed up as a police officer and drove a fake police car. He also set fire to several of the crime scenes.
My hearts go out to everyone affected in what is a terrible situation.
Like here in America, gun ownership in Canada is relatively common, but mass shootings are much rarer. In fact, the closest incident to happen to today's mass shooting occurred in 1989 when a gunman shot dead 14 women in Montreal. Now, today's rampage will take its place in the dark chapters of Canadian history as a nation under coronavirus lockdown watched every step unfold on television. Restrictions that thankfully meant there were fewer targets out on the streets. Perhaps the only silver lining on one of Canada's darkest days. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson for 10 News First.
Europe has passed a grim milestone, recording more than 100,000 official COVID-19 deaths. But the actual toll is likely to be far greater, with tens of thousands of deaths not reported because of pre-existing conditions. Across Europe, there's signs the worst may be behind them, with both Italy and Spain recording falls in infection rates. But one royal doesn't believe the optimistic picture being painted is realistic.
What has happened, especially in the UK, is, I mean, it's the very best of the human spirit. You know, it's also proving that I think things are better than we're led to believe through, you know, certain corners of the media.
At least 16,000 Brits have died, while 120,000 have been infected. New Zealand's level 4 lockdown is set to be eased from midnight next Monday. Schools will reopen for those who need it. Some businesses will be allowed to return, and restaurants can start offering home delivery only. Level 3 restrictions will remain in place for a fortnight. New Zealand's coronavirus transmission rate remains one of the lowest in the world. A bus hijacking has left a gunman dead and 2 police officers injured in Texas. The driver and a female passenger were taken hostage as the offender opened fire on chasing police. Officers managed to stop the bus with road spikes before a shootout erupted. He later died in hospital. It was later discovered the shooter was wanted over the murder of his girlfriend. The UK's lockdown has meant a very different wedding day for this nurse and her husband-to-be. It wasn't that their guests appeared via a Zoom call that made it strange, it was their wedding singer.
Sadie Golden. Oh, God, Sadie Golden.
Hey. So congratulations, Harvey and Hayley, and you're both heroes, and we all love you.
Love me like you do, touch me like you do.
Their wedding had been postponed, but as a thank you for Hayley's work as a nurse, a wedding planning company organised the whole thing, including Ellie Goulding's appearance. It seems lockdown was the last straw for one pig in Connecticut, with his breakout caught on police body cam. Taking his chances to escape the clutches of pursuing officers, Porky managed to evade capture for a full 45 minutes. In the end, a rubbish bin was his undoing, his dash for freedom landing him in the custody of animal rescue. Stay with us. Tonight's top stories follow the break. Also, the moment some crime-fighting canines put the bite on alleged kidnappers north of Brisbane. And from price check to proposal, the most unlikely of places to pop the question.
Have you been missing something from your Monday nights?
I'll give you a clue. Nah, let's just get it.
Well, guess what? We're back.
Oh my god, it's so amazing.
I get the idea. It's a quiz, everybody.
The new season of Have You Been Paying Attention returns to Mondays on 10.
Just a few weeks ago, confirmed cases of coronavirus doubled every 3 days. But by restricting travel, keeping our distance and staying at home, we're slowing the spread and saving lives. Sadly, some people aren't getting the message, putting us all at risk. Putting your life on hold for now is hard. Dealing with coronavirus is harder. Download the app. Visit australia.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
JB's got the hottest deals to keep you connected. Get 15% off Samsung Galaxy S10 phones. Stay connected with this Lenovo Smart Display for $149. And this HP touchscreen laptop for $698. Buy in store, online click and collect or get it delivered. JB, you've done it again.
A lot of us are spending more time at home. Ow. Using a lot more electricity and internet. Unfortunately, iSelect can't help with your naked partner walking past your big presentation, but we could help shrink those household bills. Now's the time to compare, select and save with iSelect on 13 19 20.
Drake's would like to thank our customers and team for their support and understanding during this period. We are working hard to stock our stores. The health of our customers and team continue to be paramount with additional measures put in place to ensure a safe shopping experience. Now more than ever, it's important to support local business. As an Aussie family business supporting other local family businesses,
we really do appreciate your support. I drive a lot.
I build stuff.
Pull things,
push things, and I hit things. And then I carry stuff.
What do you do again?
I drive a Hilux.
Australia's #1 selling vehicle, 4 years running. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Telfast knows that hay fever can strike at any time. It works fast to relieve allergy symptoms like watery eyes, a runny nose and sneezing. Nothing beats Telfast for staying alert and focused when hay fever strikes.
Hi, Chris. As one of our Care Super members, let's go see your super at work. Hold on. I'll show you some of the opportunities and possibilities that are being explored for you. Your super should work as hard as you do, so we're making sure it does.
Will MasterChef's biggest barbecue ever
I'm worried for you, mate.
eat them alive tonight?
Good afternoon once again. Dave Andrews here as we check out the roads, and a beautiful sunset tonight as we wrap things up. Got some roadworks ongoing for the rest of the week on Zillman Road through Hendra. That northbound lane is totally out of action, as you can see there. That's a massive hole in the road. That's going to be there for most of the week. Heading up and down the Gateway Bridge, moving well in both directions. The Story Bridge, a good run out of the valley as you make your way over towards Kangaroo Point, and even the Riverside Expressway and the Captain Cook Bridge is a good run both in and out of the city tonight. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to Thrive Meals. Have a great night tonight. I'll see you tomorrow.
Tonight's top stories. For the first time since early March, Queensland records no new coronavirus cases, but the Premier warns strict restrictions will remain in place for now. Thousands of parents left frustrated after the beginning of Term 2 was marred by a statewide crash of Queensland's online school learning system. And a state of origin battle has emerged over saving Virgin as New South Wales makes a play for the airline as part of a rescue bid. We have dramatic vision now of the dog squad rounding up a group of alleged kidnappers at Burpengary. They ditched a stolen car before one ran into the bush to try to get away. He was no match, though, for the police dog, who tore after him.
Don't police dog! On the ground! Show me your hands! Show me your hands! Show me your hands!
The group had allegedly kidnapped and assaulted a 30-year-old man on Friday night on the Gold Coast. 3 people were arrested while a 4th handed himself in to police. The federal government has announced plans to force Google and Facebook to pay more of the cost of producing news. The government says the big platforms profit from advertising from news content without paying to produce it.
Now, unless news is taxpayer-funded, like the ABC or SBS, all the news you read or watch is ultimately funded by advertising or subscription. But increasingly, people find their way to news content like this through Google or Facebook, and they don't pay directly to produce it. The government says
this is a big mountain to climb. These are big companies that we're dealing with, but there's also so much at stake, so we're prepared for this fight.
the government commissioned the competition watchdog, the ACCC, to look into these issues. It reported back last year, and it found more than 19 million Australians, almost everyone over the age of 13, used Google every month. Nearly 18 million use YouTube, which is owned by Google. 17 million use Facebook, and over 11 million use Instagram, which is owned by Facebook. The ACCC found news outlets have no real option but to share their content through Facebook or Google, and that gives digital giants enormous power in the market. And coronavirus has further raised the urgency level. Nearly 80% of businesses have either cut back advertising or stopped it altogether. And that means just when the nation needs news more than ever, the money was drying up to pay for it, regardless of the platform.
And it's called into question the adequacy of our existing regulatory frameworks and the viability of traditional media outlets.
Journalism matters. Journalism is vital in a democracy, but journalism costs money to produce.
Now, there were plans for a voluntary code by the end of the year, but the government has lost patience. It wants a new mandatory revenue sharing arrangement drafted by July. Now, TEN's Chief Content Officer, Beverly McGarvey, says for the new code to be truly meaningful, it needs to cover all premium content, not just news. Facebook says it is disappointed by today's developments, saying it spends hundreds of millions of dollars globally supporting journalism. Google says it will continue to work constructively with news producers. Once again, though, we're seeing the government using a crisis to try to push through some pretty big reforms.
Food delivery services have been grilled by industry stakeholders as the state's restaurants and cafes struggle to survive the coronavirus crisis. Business owners say companies like Uber Eats and Deliveroo are milking them dry, charging up to 35% commission.
If you reduce your wages, your cost of goods, your commission, sometimes we're even running at a loss.
The state government says it's hoping to broker a compromise. A Beenleigh couple has taken the lockdown to a whole new level, deciding to make it permanent. Sam turned up to the Coles store where his partner Tegan works and called her to the front counter over the PA system.
I love having fun with you and making you laugh. Your ability to take the good with the bad and see the best in people, always considering others, often before yourself. I am truly inspired by your love for life, and I would be out of my mind to not ask you to spend the rest of your life with me.
Sam got down on one knee and popped the question armed with a free ring. The proposal was all part of a Nova radio contest. And congratulations to them on their engagement. Yeah, there you go. That's what happens during a lockdown. Well, it is sport time, Jono. Some big news out of NRL headquarters.
Yeah, that's right. It's certainly been a busy afternoon, Georgie. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Coming up, Todd Greenberg is gone as the game's CEO as the push to play the Origin Series in October gathers strength. More next. Plus, cricketers' latest pay negotiations set for another standoff. And what cleared the benches in this Taiwanese baseball game?
We chat to the first chef eliminated from the MasterChef kitchen next.
When are you due?
Early June.
Same.
Can't wait for our babies to meet.
We know that.
He's not here. Not here. Someone has taken my baby.
We've got secrets. We've done bad things.
We got it. Come on, let's go!
Drop your weapon! Police! She's got my baby!
The Secrets She Keeps premieres Wednesday after MasterChef. Even though we need to stay inside, we can still keep moving. Even when you're not outside, you can still move like you are. Because even when spaces are limited, you can still move without limits.
Hi, I'm Jo from Westpac, and I'm here to show you how easy it is to set up online banking on your computer. First, type westpac.com.au/register into your browser. Now on this page, select the register button at the right-hand side of the screen. Next, enter your Westpac card details or your customer ID along with your name and date of birth. You'll find your customer ID on your statement. In some cases, you may be asked some security questions to confirm your identity. You'll need to create a password that you'll use to log back into Westpac online banking. Finally, you'll need to confirm or update your email and mobile number. Perfect. You're all set up. If you need any more information, visit westpac.com.au/register. And above all, please stay safe.
At Domino's, our first priority is the health and safety of our team members and customers. That's why we are now offering zero contact delivery, so you can get any large pizza from $15 delivered with total peace of mind.
When was the last time you washed your hands? Go on. In 20 seconds, you can help reduce the spread of infection. We don't care which soap you use. We care that you care. For you and for all. Dove. With 70% of the immune system located in the gut, good gut health supports good immune health. Stay healthy with Inner Health Plus Double Strength. In pharmacy now.
From home time to sleepy time, IKEA designs around life's precious moments. So make mess, mohawks, and laugh until your belly hurts. Because with IKEA, there really is no place like home.
Employees of Budget Direct. Over 20 years, you have become the country's most award-winning insurer, providing top-notch cover for more than 3 million Australians.
It's a start. 22 million to go. Will you help people get a better deal on their car insurance?
Will you fight to save Australians on their home insurance?
No, Karen. She loves saving people money.
Who are you?
Proudly saving Australians on insurance for 20 years. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
1,200 hunters.
Will MasterChef's biggest barbecue ever
I'm worried for you, mate.
eat them alive tonight?
Welcome back. As you heard earlier, after 4 years in charge of the NRL, Todd Greenberg has fallen on his sword and quit as the game's CEO. Greenberg was widely criticised by clubs for the NRL's dire financial situation uncovered through COVID-19. He was also frozen out of talks with broadcasters last week. In a statement, Greenberg said, "Despite a variety of challenges and pressures, I've loved every single minute of the journey." Chief Commercial Officer Andrew Abdo has been appointed acting CEO. And the news comes on a day when we seem to be moving closer to a state of origin consensus. Queensland may get a game after all as they look to honour an immortal.
Even 40 years later, Arthur Beetson's legacy stands tall.
And everyone in Queensland, particularly those 30-odd thousand that were there that night, got an emotional attachment to what State of Origin Rugby League looks like. And hasn't it grown wow since then?
But as always, the game is changing. The State of Origin series looks set to be standalone for the first time and in the back end of the year.
My preferred option would be at the back end of the season when the NRL's been completed, possibly October or even into November.
Towards the end of the year, we would be open to that if the health advice said that we were in the situation to do so.
That means Queenslanders should get a chance to honour Beetson in the state he loves so much.
Our plans have been disrupted a little bit at the moment, but if we can't get it on the day, we'll certainly get it on the year, and it'll be a really emotional and very as I say, a very emotional time for all Queenslanders.
For the moment at least, the players are finding the lighter side of the uncertainty.
Ashley Taylor, unemployed.
As the clubs outside of New South Wales brace themselves for a potential move to Sydney for a restarted NRL competition.
I'm willing to do that as an individual, but there's going to be blokes that are really family orientated and they can't be away from their networking, because that's what keeps them driving every day is their families.
Veronica Eggleton for 10 News First.
The pay dispute between Rugby Australia and the Players Association is all but complete, with a deal that will see players take on average a 60% pay cut between April and September. The hardest hit, Wallabies captain Michael Hooper, reportedly expected to lose around $70,000 a month. Upon signing the agreement, RA will then seek a $16 million handout from World Rugby. Roar keeper Jamie Young agrees more needs to be done to help football in Australia return to its glory days. After a handful of Socceroos legends suggested the game had gone nowhere in an online discussion, Young believes there's some areas in the game that must improve.
I do feel there's a lot of improvements in football to be made, and especially on the commercialisation of the sport, engaging the community, getting bums on seats, the youth development.
With the A-League suspended, he's using the time to study a PhD in sports psychology. T20 World Cup organisers are determined to plough on with the October event despite the game's complete shutdown. While Cricket Australia and the Players Association are on another collision course over contracts, Josh Hazlewood says it's nothing like the 2017 standoff.
This is not something you would have heard from an Australian cricketer during the 2017 pay dispute.
Yeah, we're obviously partners in the game, and we've always said that. We've ridden the highs, and now it's probably time to ride the lows a little bit. Lessons learned from the messy standoff under the old administration mean it won't be repeated this time around. The relationships are a lot better now between the ACA and CA, and they've developed a long way, I think, in the last 18 months, 2 years probably. Player pay cuts are inevitable though. For a sport that had nearly $200 million in cash reserves in 2016, Josh Hazlewood admits to being blindsided by news Cricket Australia could be broke by August. Yeah, it probably took me a little bit by surprise, I guess, just due to the fact that it's probably happened at a perfect time, I guess, this pandemic for cricket. T20 World Cup organisers are determined for that event to go ahead in October, despite a potential risk to players' safety. You obviously think about it and you take precautions, and we're no different to anyone else. India's test tour immediately after remains clouded. If it doesn't happen, it could be replaced by an Australia versus Australia A series, much like the pre-Ashes trial. It was a pretty exciting game, to be honest. No one held back at all. Sort of spots were on the line. So I guess you'd have that same sort of feel.
It's hard to imagine a domestic series would be enough to bail out Australia's favourite pastime. Josh McLean for 10 News First.
Now, you would think just being able to play competitive sport would be enough to keep you happy at the moment, but Taiwanese baseball quickly hit that theory out of the park.
We could have a big problem here as Sosa's ready to take on the whole team and the bench is clear. You know, for our international viewers, you need to understand that this never really happens in the CPBL.
Yes, apparently for this league, arguing with the ref is rare. All in brawls, almost unheard of, but while both teams boast a pretty clean rap sheet, we'll still punish them with our spray of the day. We'll just blame it on coronavirus and being locked up for
it's never a good look, is it?
No.
Thanks, Jono. Stay with us. Josh will have all the weather details after the break.
How the coronavirus crisis is providing a glimmer of hope for the homeless.
1,200 ravenous punters.
Will MasterChef's biggest barbecue ever eat them alive?
I'm worried for you, mate. Have you got anything cooked?
MasterChef on 10.
It continues 7:30 tonight.
At Domino's, we've introduced a number of measures to improve our safety. Our zero contact delivery means that you can get a tasty meal safely delivered without ever having to leave your home in search of other options. We've also been working hard to feed the front line of doctors and nurses and supermarket workers. We're playing our part to keep Australians safely fed. After all, we're all in this together.
Get AHM hospital cover from only $15.75 a week. Yay. It's that easy. So you can get back to doing whatever it is you like to do. Even that. Find out more and join AHM Direct today. AHM, the simple bit.
When a cold disturbs your family's sleep, Vicks Vapor Rub relieves cough, nasal congestion, muscle aches and pains. They sleep, you sleep. Vicks Vapor Rub relieves 4 cough and cold symptoms.
Now's the perfect time to buy a Titan because the price of steel is about to go up and the boss has over 400 tonne of steel to clear at today's prices. But when it's gone, so get in quick. Buy this month and you also get free colour roof and walls with all buildings, plus this unreal stainless steel workbench. Don't miss out, beat the price rise and save, and remember, Titan are the manufacturer.
Call 13 27 36 for the Titan Display Centre near you.
You'll be lucky you got a Titan.
I thought my teeth were clean, but my dentist said no, there's still plaque. Switch your brush from this to one with a rounded brush head.
Oral-B is rounded to reach between teeth and gums, gently removing plaque for healthier gums. Oral-B, brush like a pro.
When life gives you sauciness, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness. Ivac Steam Mop, $59, save $40. Hoover Zenith Stick Vacuum, $299, save $100. Godfrey's Cleanliness.
Mackenzie Aged Care has opened its brand new aged care community in the heart of Buderim. Permanent and respite care, family owned and operated. Book a tour today, 1300 899 222, or visit our website.
I suddenly realised we're all in this together.
That feels especially true, given what's going on. It is good to know that our super will help us and our economy bounce back. And if you're with one of these, your super is invested in things that create jobs and keep Aussie businesses strong, delivering good long-term returns that benefit all of us. After all,
we're all in this together.
From Real Housewife to rock star, Gamble rolls the dice on a new career. And
internet famous angry dad gets revenge on his prankster sons.
Plus, the doctor is in. Isolate with us tomorrow on Studio 10.
It's a weather time, Josh. Another warm week on the way.
The weather on repeat, that is for sure, Georgie. Those temperatures are around about 3-4 degrees above average across parts of southeast Queensland as we get you across the next few days. And we'll look at that forecast in just a moment. Firstly, to the weather cam, a lovely evening unfolding across the southeast, where today we hit tops of 29 degrees, 2 above average, but it was the minimum temperatures which were a big story. Down to 14 degrees in the city, 3 below, and the coldest morning of the year so far. Even Ipswich dropped down to 7 degrees earlier today, and that was a whopping 7 below average. Right now we're sitting on 23 in the CBD, humidity at 48%, and the wind's light at 6 kilometres per hour. Diving into the satellite tonight, plenty of clear skies across areas of Queensland, although we do have a cloud band extending from the northwest of Australia down through areas of SA, New South Wales and Victoria. That's associated with a trough of low pressure, and as you can see here, a little bit of cloud cover popping up through southern areas of Queensland. No rainfall associated with that. It was generally fine skies across the north as well today, but looking at the prognostic chart tomorrow, an area of high pressure will maintain its position across eastern areas of Australia. Now, what was responsible for those cooler temperatures this morning? Well, over the weekend, we had that cooler change move through southeast Queensland. In behind it, some cooler, drier air and also some very light winds across areas like Ipswich this morning. In fact, they were absolutely calm. So that allowed those temperatures to drop first thing in the morning. I think they'll be slightly warmer as we get across the next couple of days, first thing, but we've still got those onshore winds affecting areas of the north coast of Queensland, and as a result, we could see some light shower activity. It will favour areas of the central and northeast coast tomorrow, but as you can see here with the light blue shading, it will be very light on indeed. You're talking 1 to 5 millimetres probably at best for most areas. Other parts of the state, as you can see, fine, clear and calm under that broad area of high pressure. That does include Brisbane, the Gold and Sunshine Coast areas. Let's move interstate though, and Sydney tomorrow. Top temperatures through the afternoon of 25 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Much the same in Melbourne, going for a top of 20. A little bit cooler in Hobart, 17 degrees, the maximum forecast. 24, mostly sunny for Adelaide, and just a chance of a shower for Perth and a top of 24. Beautiful day for Darwin with 34 degrees on the way. Back home and the north of the state, 31 degrees, the top for Cairns. Slight chance of a shower for Townsville tomorrow, but it should be a dry and sunny day for Longreach, hitting 36. A little bit cooler for Roma, getting to 30 degrees tomorrow. And a beautiful day on the way for Rocky, 31 after those severe storms over the weekend. Tennis ball sized hail also falling across Rocky and Yeppoon, but it will be clear tomorrow, as you can see. Gympie going for a top of 29 degrees. For the southeast, it will be mostly sunny for Tuesday. Overnight temperatures falling to between 12 and 15 degrees. Daytime temperatures reaching the mid to high 20s. Out on the bay, east to southeasters 10 to 15 knots. They will be reaching around about 20 knots though, a little bit later in the afternoon. Seas below 1 metre. Brisbane City, tops of 28 degrees, mostly sunny skies tomorrow, up to 31 degrees Wednesday, but back down to 28 Thursday and 29 degrees on Friday. For Ipswich, a little bit warmer tomorrow morning, 29 degrees through the afternoon, 32 on Wednesday and 29 Thursday. The extended forecast for the Gold and Sunshine Coast coming up next.
A big fat F for the first day of homeschooling. Parents left frustrated as the online platform crashes before it really got off the ground. 0 cases delivers high hopes for Queenslanders as we receive our best chance yet of returning to a normal life. And Greenberg gone, the NRL CEO calls it quits, effective immediately. We have some breaking news for you now on the future of Virgin. Let's go straight to Joe Hill, who's in the newsroom. Joe, what's happened?
Well, Georgie, we can confirm tonight that Virgin has been placed into voluntary administration. Senior executives have been locked in meetings all day to try to plot a way forward for the company, but they've been unable to do so. The Virgin is crushed by about $5 billion worth of debt, and in the current climate, it has next to no income. And there are thousands of jobs at stake with this company. This isn't the end of the airline per se, but it is a massive step in the wrong direction. And coincidentally, it comes on a day when premiers along the east coast of Australia were fighting amongst themselves to try to shore up the future of our second carrier.
It's state versus state, and Virgin is the political football.
Well, at the end of the day, my government's responsible for New South Wales. I don't apologise for that. I'm the Premier of this state.
Back off. Back right off. Just don't go there. If the world knows one thing, it knows this. There is nothing more dangerous than Queenslanders with their backs to the wall.
The war of words breaking out after New South Wales revealed it is in negotiations to help bail out the struggling airline, but only if Western Sydney gets the headquarters.
But this is not about being in a fight with Queensland, it's about being in a fight to keep as many businesses in business over this time.
Queensland has already offered a $200 million lifeline, asking the other states to join in, but not like this.
Now, New South Wales might want to bring a pea shooter to the fight, that's fine. We'll bring a bazooka and we're not afraid to use it.
It would be a public bailout for a company with some big international backers. Etihad and Singapore Airlines both own a stake in Virgin Australia, as well as 2 Chinese conglomerates and Richard Branson's Virgin Group. But any rescue deal will likely require the federal government to contribute. Virgin says it needs about $1.4 billion to stay afloat. And today there was another warning. Virgin Australia releasing a credit downgrade to the ASX that put it starkly, saying without additional funding over the next few months, there is a high chance that the airline won't survive.
Virgin does not have a great deal of time for the government to get its act together to extend this lifeline and save the jobs of 16,000 workers.
Cabin Supervisor Tony Smith is one of them.
They're people that I can turn to help me get through things. And it's not just me, it's a lot of other crew as well and staff.
Many of us who are struggling on one wage, and if we do go down, it is impossible to go on.
It's far from a game when your job's on the line. Ursula Hager for 10 News First.
Parents trying to teach their children from home have been left frustrated and stressed with online learning systems crashing as soon as the day began. The Premier called it teething issues as Queenslanders get used to the new look school term. Here's Georgina Hill.
Usually day one of term 2, classrooms would be buzzing with students and teachers ready to get back into work after an Easter break. But today this is a much quieter learning environment as more and more students are kept home from school. Schools remained open for parents who were deemed essential workers or for vulnerable students, but education authorities were expecting less than 100,000 children to show up at Queensland schools today. That meant kitchen classrooms were in full swing and teachers who were at school were teaching virtually. Unfortunately, there's been a few online hurdles this morning. The Education Department Learning at Home website crashed almost immediately, as did the Catholic education system and other online tools like OneNote. Dozens of parents telling 10 News First they tried for hours to log on as students and teachers became increasingly frustrated.
Logging on to get work didn't happen. They thought it was the internet. It wasn't the internet, and then people were posting in the Facebook groups, were getting bombarded with emails.
We always said there was going to be some teething issues.
The remote learning system is to remain in place until the 22nd of May, with education authorities to review that before then.
It's an achievement to be proud of. For the first time in 42 days, there are no new coronavirus cases in Queensland. John Paul Gonzo joins us again from State Parliament. JP, does this mean restrictions will be lifted?
Not just yet, Georgie. It is still too early and we are definitely in this for the long haul. The fear is if we become too complacent, we could see a second wave of infections. That's what's happened overseas in some countries and the consequences have been deadly. So no new confirmed infections here in Queensland today. That means the state total remains at just over 1,007 people remain in intensive care. The Premier says the curve is flattening and we are beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel. A sign of that today on the Gold Coast. 2 beaches, Surfers Paradise and Coolangatta, reopened. Only for exercise though. The car parks remain closed to keep everyone else away. It is just for people who live around the area. The Premier says we can expect to see more changes and restrictions could be eased soon.
If we can keep this up over the coming weeks, I'm sure that that's going to mean that we'll be able to make some changes
and ease some of those restrictions on the population.
So we need to be very cautious. We need to keep up our current approach, but if we can sustain this, then the end is in sight.
Georgie, while most people are staying home, some still aren't getting the message. More than $1.5 million in fines have now been issued since coronavirus regulations began. Yesterday alone, in just 24 hours, 46 people were handed a fine.
Thank you, John Paul, with that update. After 4 years at the helm, Todd Greenberg has sensationally quit the NRL. His decision is effective immediately as the league fights to survive the coronavirus pandemic.
In recent months, Todd Greenberg's career has been a slow bleed. Under siege and undermined, it was never going to end well, despite his constant assurances.
The ability for us to stick together through those challenges and face it head on, but do it together, is the real challenge, and we're going to do that in the coming weeks and months. It won't be easy, but we'll come out the other end.
So when the end finally came this afternoon, it was hardly a shock. In a statement, he said, "It has been my great honour and privilege to be the CEO of the NRL for the last 4 years. Despite the variety of challenges and pressures, I have loved every single minute of the journey." It's no secret Greenberg has never seen eye to eye with his boss, Peter V'landys, who said this: "The role of Chief Executive of the NRL is one of the most challenging and difficult roles in Australian sport. The ARLC thanks Todd for his contribution to the game." During Greenberg's time at the helm, rugby league has hemorrhaged money and seen countless off-field nightmares. Dealing with them became a full-time job for the CEO.
Look, we're always disappointed when players misbehave either on the field or off the field. The videos I have seen are gross, juvenile and disrespectful. If there was a grading in our system for stupidity, this behaviour would be at the very top end.
And most recently, he's been involved in a bitter public war with Channel 9, which has broadcast the game for decades.
The message to them and to our entire industry is we've fought really hard to keep our games on over the last month for that exact reason, to protect our industry.
But through it all, the fans never lost faith in the game itself, even with the civil war raging at head office, which has now claimed its biggest casualty. Emma Lawrence for 10 News First.
Coming up, the corona crisis reaches a grim milestone in Europe. Also, Queenslanders caught in an international child abuse sting. Plus, the Aussie YouTube sensations that have just hit the big time. And in sport, this Brady bunch of soccer greats call for big changes to the game in Australia.
Newsy's helping get your kids into science during self-isolation. Plus, whip out your leg warmers, aerobics Oz style is back. Next.
At Domino's, our first priority is the health and safety of our team members and customers. That's why we are now offering zero-contact delivery, so you can get any large pizza from $15 delivered with total peace of mind.
Employees of Budget Direct, over 20 years, you have become the country's most award-winning insurer, providing top-notch cover for more than 3 million Australians.
It's a start. 22 million to go. Will you help people get a better deal on their car insurance?
Will you fight to save Australians on their home insurance?
Oh, Karen. She loves saving people money.
Who are you?
Proudly saving Australians on insurance for 20 years. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
When life gives you kiddiness, Godfrey's gives you cleanliness. Ecovacs Depot 600 robot, $299, save $100. Hoover bagless vacuum, $149, save $150. Godfrey's cleanliness.
Hester is a super fund that supports people whose work helps others. Their stories inspire us to give them a stronger financial future and a better world to retire into. It's our way of saying thank you.
There are many different ways to become dehydrated, but there's one sure way to rehydrate.
Hydrolite helps rehydrate you faster than water alone. Available as effervescent tablets, powder, liquid and ice blocks, Hydrolite comes in a range of flavours. Hydrate with Hydrolite. Available for a great price at Chemist Warehouse.
Right now at Target, get 20% off toys from these big brands like Lego, Nerf, Barbie, Fisher-Price and more. Now on at Target. Offer ends April 26 in selected stores and online. Conditions apply.
As credit to you, here's up to $120 credit from us. Add any selected month-to-month mobile plan with Vodafone and get the credit you deserve over 12 months. Find out more at vodafone.com.au. Ready?
Just a few weeks ago, confirmed cases of coronavirus doubled every 3 days. But by restricting travel, keeping our distance and staying at home, we're slowing the spread and saving lives. Sadly, some people aren't getting the message, putting us all at risk. Putting your life on hold for now is hard. Dealing with coronavirus is harder. Download the app. Visit australia.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
1,200 ravenous punters.
Will MasterChef's biggest barbecue ever eat them alive?
I'm worried for you, mate. Have you got anything cooked?
MasterChef, 7:30 tonight.
Queenslanders are among 16 people arrested after a 2-year joint operation between Australia and the US into a website where users could pay to access child abuse material. Officers have laid more than 700 charges, as well as removing 8 children from harm. Investigators also warn COVID-19 restrictions won't stop operations targeting cross-country criminal networks. Europe has passed a grim milestone in the battle against COVID-19. The official death toll is now more than 100,000, though the true figures are likely to be far greater. But through it all, there are some glimmers of hope.
From the empty streets of Paris to a deserted Rome, it's unlikely the Europe we know will ever be the same. More than 100,000 lives officially lost across the continent to COVID-19. Tens of thousands more have also perished without their deaths being recorded in a crisis racing faster than governments can handle it. Thankfully, Spain has joined Italy in showing signs of improvement. It's recorded its lowest daily death toll in a month. In the UK, there are some stories of hope. This man with Down syndrome was given 24 hours to live. Now he's been reunited with his mother. And at a site that once held Olympic events, a victory of a different kind. A farewell to the first patient to recover from COVID-19 in London's largest temporary hospital.
We're immensely proud to have played our part in saving Mr. Jones' life.
Amid the individual tales of hope is the reality of a crisis overwhelming a nation. More than 16,000 people have died in hospitals from COVID-19 here in the UK, even more in nursing homes. Medics are dying because there's not enough protective gear to keep them safe. And until the situation is under control, over 70s may be housebound for a year. That's why Prince Harry has been criticised for saying this.
It can be very worrying when you're sitting there and the only sort of information you're getting is from certain news channels. But then if you're out and about or you're on the right platforms, you can really sense this human spirit coming to the forefront.
There's no doubt the human spirit is high in the UK, but so is the scale of this crisis. Phoebe Bowden for 10 News First, London.
A pair of young brothers has become Australia's biggest YouTube stars. Their videos amass billions of views and millions of dollars in the bank. And now they've just landed a deal with Nickelodeon.
At just 8 and 4 years old, these brothers have earned more money than most of us ever will.
I started when I was young with just me and my dad on the weekend for fun.
But fun quickly led to fame and fortune for Calvin and Kyson from Punchbowl. They're the stars of online channel CKN Toys, where they unbox and review kids' products.
Choo choo, choo choo.
Attracting more than 14 million subscribers and 13 billion views, it's estimated their channel has made them almost $12 million.
My favourite toys are like Avengers, Nerf. Carson, what are your favourite toys? Peppa Pig and then Nerf.
Now the brothers have signed with Nickelodeon.
Hey, I'm Calvin, and this is my little brother Kyson. Hi!
Their new show, Play Power, launching this morning.
The show that we've created, Calvin and Kyson's Play Power, like complements what they do, but it's not the same. It's like a little bit different, but I think it's a natural progression for them to have a TV show.
Calvin and Kyson's parents say despite countless offers of free toys, they purchase around 95% of the products the boys review. Then when they're done, they give them away to friends, family or charities. 19 more episodes of Play Power are set to air this season.
It's exciting to have our own show on Nickelodeon. Really happy.
Paris Martin for 10 News First.
Cashing in at a young age. Wouldn't that have been nice? Well, Jono's back now with another look at sport.
Thank you, Georgie. Hello again. Kevin Walters is backing a proposal to play the Origin series later in the year. An October or November date is expected to be given the green light if government health advice says it's safe to proceed. The Maroons coach revealing plans to honour the late Arthur Beetson if it goes ahead.
Our plans have been disrupted a little bit at the moment, but if we can't get it on the day, we'll certainly get it on the air, and it'll be a really emotional and very, as I say, a very emotional time for all Queenslanders.
On the Gold Coast, Ash Taylor says he's prepared to make the move to Sydney for a restarted NRL competition. Australian players are determined to work with Cricket Australia to avoid a repeat of the 2017 pay dispute. There's only 10 days left before the new contract deadline. Josh Hazlewood says he and his teammates are expecting a drastic pay cut to help save the game.
It's a lot different for everyone, and it's going to affect more some people more harshly than others, and others are in a better position. So, it's going to be different for everyone.
It comes as organisers of the T20 World Cup on home soil are determined to press on with the event in October. Socceroos greats from the golden generation have unloaded on Australian football, claiming the game has been in turmoil for the past decade and needs drastic change. In a Facebook Live chat, they didn't hold back.
It was a golden generation reunion of sorts.
We haven't had this group of guys together for a long, long time.
So it reminds me a little bit about the time when we used to be stuck in hotel rooms.
Half a dozen Socceroos greats discussing the hot topics surrounding the game in Australia and shooting from the hip.
Can you finish this sentence? In the past decade, Australian football has
gone nowhere.
It's at a crossroads, John, in my opinion.
It's not perfect. Of course it's not perfect.
In 2005, it was John Aloisi's penalty which put Australian football on the world map, qualifying for its first World Cup finals since 1974. But lately, the conveyor belt of Aussie superstars on the global stage has disappeared and youth development was the focus.
Are we missing out on some of the people that can't afford it?
We're hearing that they're loads, or they're not able to play 90 minutes. They can only play 60 minutes.
The FFA closed the Centre of Excellence at the Australian Institute of Sport in 2017, mainly due to a $1.6 million annual cost.
That program needs to somehow be born again.
The AIS basically made me as a player.
Next in the firing line, the A-League.
I don't think the quality of the A-League is, improving.
The A-League is like watching It's a Knockout.
That's not on anymore, Dukes.
The discussion even had current players sharing the view that things have to change.
I do feel there's a lot of improvements in football to be made. Engaging the community, getting bums on seats.
Michael Caine for 10 News First.
A pro golfer went head-to-head with some of the best Formula One drivers and perhaps not surprisingly was a fair way off the pace. Things were a bit rough for Ian Poulter at the virtual Chinese GP. He finished in 18th spot and showed why you shouldn't drive with distraction.
Oh, look at that now, Lord. Oh, no. Oh, you've got me all flustered. We've ruined Ian's race. A commentator's curse.
Carlos Sainz proved also that pro drivers can find the wall as well. No such trouble for Ferrari's Charles Leclerc, who won for the second straight virtual race. Georgie, that is all in sport.
Thank you, Jono. Well, coming up, Josh has the week's forecasts for the Gold and Sunshine Coasts.
It's the biggest
ravenous punters.
MasterChef barbecue ever.
Oh my gosh.
It is absolute mayhem. Alarm bells are starting to sound.
It's too slow.
I know, mate. I'm trying to get it going there, mate.
I warned you about this.
But will this epic challenge eat them alive?
The way that your service goes all relies on the next 10 minutes. I'm worried for you, mate. Have you got anything cooked?
MasterChef, 7:30 tonight on 10.
Head to Macca's right now if you're looking for a treat and get a creamy McFlurry for only $2 or a McValue Family Box for $24.95. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.
Want to relieve your sensitivity and keep your gums healthy? Try new Sensodyne Sensitivity and Gum Toothpaste from Chemist Warehouse. With twice daily brushing, Sensodyne Sensitivity and Gum Toothpaste provides relief from tooth sensitivity and helps to maintain healthy gums. Right now at Chemist Warehouse, Sensodyne Sensitivity and Gum Original and Extra Fresh flavours are $7.99 each. Trust Sensodyne, the #1 brand for sensitive teeth. Live, look, feel well at Chemist Warehouse.
Drake's would like to thank our customers and team for their support and understanding during this period. We are working hard to stock our stores. The health of our customers and team continues to be paramount.
We really do appreciate your support.
It is the heart of the home, it's the heart of our family, it's the heart of our social life. We need it to last a long time, and that's where quality comes in. Every kitchen is different, every size is different, so we have such a great range here.
It's a nice feeling to walk into a brand new kitchen. We definitely make the whole process affordable and easy. So from start to finish, Bunnings makes it super easy to get your state-of-the-art kitchen for your budget.
So to create the amazing look without the big prices, beautiful kitchens at an affordable price that look amazing.
Cookie people, cream people, crumbs people, clean people, twist people, lick people, dunk people, munch people. It's on the play, people. If you twist, lick, dunk, then you're my people. We are Oreo people.
Suncorp has been supporting Queenslanders through life's ups and downs for over 100 years. And while 2020 is proving to be one of the toughest yet, we're here to support our customers more than ever. So, if you're a Suncorp customer in need of financial support, visit suncorp.com.au. Supporting you when you need it most. That's the Suncorp spirit.
Hi, Grandpa.
Are you ready?
Yes.
In the green rolling hills.
It's more important than ever to stay close. And you can with an extra 25 gigs of mobile data. Register via My Telstra app by 30th of June.
Come through. Bedroom, bathroom, fully automated Franklin outdoor blinds. Pool, cabana, Franklin aluminium privacy screens. No more nosy neighbours.
Want to add value to your home this summer? Frankly, only Franklin will do.
Up next, COVID-19 lockdown is working to save lives, but hundreds of thousands of Aussie jobs have gone. The challenge of striking the right balance. Plus how the coronavirus is providing a small glimmer of hope for Australia's homeless. And our chat with the first eliminated MasterChef cook is on the way. The project next.
Time for a final weather check, Josh. Perfect autumn temperatures this week.
Yeah, they should be right on average for areas coastal fringe, Georgia. A little bit warmer further inland, maybe 3 to 4 degrees above average for parts like Ipswich, but we'll get to that forecast in just a few moments. Firstly, let's take a look at the synoptic chart. We've got a broad area of high pressure situated over eastern Australia at the moment, and that's keeping the skies relatively clear currently, although further north we've got some light onshore winds persisting throughout areas of the central and northeast coast. And as you can see here on the predicted rain chart, there will be the chance of a shower as we get through tomorrow. As mentioned, around Mackay, Townsville, slight chance up around Cairns. In contrast, though, further south, as you can see, clear skies on the way for Tuesday. Moving up to the states north, and Cairns tomorrow going for tops of 31 degrees, 27 for the Atherton Tablelands, and even Townsville, slight chance of a shower tomorrow. I don't think we'll see too much into the rain gauges though. Rocky seeing plenty of sunshine after thunderstorms over the weekend. Bundaberg going for 29 degrees, the same mark in Maryborough and also Gympie. 30 degrees, the maximum forecast for Roma for Tuesday. Into the southeast, now it will be mostly sunny. Overnight temperatures fall into between 12 and 15 degrees, with daytime temperatures reaching the mid to high 20s. We're going for 27 degrees on the Bay, 28 at Caboolture and Logan, and tops of 26 degrees for Toowoomba. On to the Brisbane City forecast. Mostly sunny tomorrow, tops of 28 degrees, around about 1 degree above average for this time of year. Looking very pleasant over the next few days. 31, a warm one for Wednesday, dropping slightly into Thursday with a bit of increased cloud cover. 29 degrees the top for Friday. At this stage of the weekend looking A-OK. For Ipswich, up to 32 degrees on Wednesday, 29 Thursday, and as you can see, staying dry and warm Friday, and 29 at this stage, the forecast temp for this weekend. For the Goldie, we're looking at 27 tomorrow, 29 Wednesday, 27 on Thursday, and 29 on Friday. Bit of a autumn yo-yo, if you like, there over the next 4 days. 28 degrees over the 2 best days of the week as well. For the sunny coast, 27, mostly sunny as we get through Tuesday. A beautiful day on the way for Wednesday with 28 degrees. 27 the top for Thursday, 28 for Friday, and a beautiful weekend on the way with tops of 27 degrees. So no rain at this stage in sight across the southeast. Georgie?
We need the rain, but I am loving these autumn days. They're spectacular. Thanks, Josh. That is 10 News First for now. For more details on tonight's stories, make sure you head to 10 Daily, but stay on 10. The project is next. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.
Tonight, COVID-19 lockdown is working to save lives, but hundreds of thousands of Aussie jobs have gone. The challenge